ॐ ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 You guys able to see the slides? Okay. Arjun.
Yes,
Yes,
Swami.
Swami.
Yeah, you are able to see. Okay. So Arjun, Swamiji gives a brief illustration of silence and the importance of being silent. What is the meaning of this? And under what conditions is this silence necessary?
Swami,
Yeah.
right now,
For you, that silence is necessary, is it?
just joking, Swami. Please, sorry.
We don't have Nimesh to start off the process today. So someone else has to start.
I don't know how much of this is correct, but once I attended a class where she said that after a mantra or after a bhajan, that couple of seconds of silence, you are able to observe a lot of things that you would not be able to observe usually. And at that time, we were actually talking about a vasana. Like she said, yeah, it's basically observations that you make because your mind is quiet, probably. That's all I know about it, unfortunately.
Okay. Mahesh, you have anything to add or you're going to be silent?
Swami. Yes, Swami. Same thing, Swami. When we are silent, we are better able to absorb our energy and focus doesn't go to other faculties of the senses. Rather, it is getting used in observing and grasping whatever is in front of us. So, a few minutes of silence and reflection definitely goes a great
Hari
way.
Om Shah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then, yeah, Swami. Now I think the rest of them will add a few more points.
Okay. Prabhu, you have anything for this question from Arjun?
Well, I believe I I do remember, and like to some instance, like Swamiji mentions, like when uh when you are when you exercise silence, it to some extent it gives you like mental focus, and you are able to think clearly in that moment, and like, and probably that's why he says, like, to some extent, like, uh, under what conditions silence is necessary is like when you take a very um, like critical decisions. It's just like, I believe he said, like, to 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 think, to if you want to think clearly, it's better to like kind of maintain silence, and then that will help you to keep focus and then think clearly.
Okay. Arjun, you're there? So
Yes, Sanjay.
yeah, because I can't see you, that's why. So the the illustration that he gives in the class is that now next few moments, let's all be silent. When I says and I clap, so everybody became silent. The moment you become silent, you become alert because of the change of tone from sound to silence. So this is the alertness he was trying to give. In fact, when I joined the ashram in 2000, the we used to have one period of silence on Wednesdays from morning until 1 o'clock, until lunchtime. No speaking. Everybody was silent. No speaking at all. Right? But then what happened is people started speaking in sign language. Even when they're jogging, they said, like that, move. You understand? Then he said, this is made a caricature of this because the silence is meant for alertness or quietude so that you can become alert. And if you speak in sign language, it doesn't make any sense. Isn't it? So therefore, today, most of the time, we are preoccupied by the noises inside us and the noises outside us. So that's why when you sit in the morning and you think, since there is no outside noise, outside disturbance, you are alert. And even if there's outside noise, if there's a lot of inside noise also, you will not be alert. So that's why he's saying, pause, just pause. Then allow your thoughts, you will become aware of the thoughts. So under what conditions? There is no particular condition. You should always remain alert. It becomes a specific practice because today the mind is running at so much speed that you have to pause to make the mind silent for a moment for you to stop and think. So you will have to reach a state of maunam, silence. In the sense, inside the mind is completely quiet. So the whole world comes in sharper focus. Your own personality comes into sharper focus. That's ultimately the aim, to be completely silent from within. Silent in this, the mind doesn't run without the intellect's instruction. Any questions?
Swamiji, here I would rather think certain times that okay, whenever somebody is talking, let me let me listen to him without any obstruction. And most of the time, it is like this. I have been observing that whenever we talk too much, or whenever we speak a lot about ourselves, or anything, the mind gets disturbed. So, what if I practice a silence, which is like for a continuous period of time, wherein only certain when it is necessary for me to talk, I will talk, rather than rest of the time if I'm not going to talk. How's that working, Swamiji?
No, no. So you are starting at a very gross level. The assumption here is you are generally a good listener, but the problem is your mind is running. That is the assumption in which he was giving the idea that you're already a good listener outside. When people speak, you don't speak out of turn. But then your mind is still running also. So how to make your mind silence for you to observe yourself? So that is the context in which he had given the point. You understand? So it is a given. When people are speaking, you should, when there's nothing to say, don't say anything. There is a saying, fools speak because they have to say something. The wise speak because they have something to say. A fool keeps on talking because that's when they feel comfortable talking. You understand? The wise person speaks only because they have something to say. There's something important to say. In the Shakespeare Polonius advice, he says, "Give thy thoughts no tongue." Means don't speak. Don't speak when it's not necessary. Nor any unproportioned thought, its act. Not something that you didn't think about clearly. Don't put the thought into action. It's a very important thing, he says. Give thy ear unto all, but few thy voice. You understand? You listen to everybody, but few thy voice means unless necessary, you don't speak. Few thy voice. What is the proof?
Can you can, can you
Yeah.
repeat that quote again from Shakespeare?
The second part or the first part?
The first part.
Give thy thoughts no tongue means the moment something comes in your head, don't start blurting it out.
Okay.
So give thy thoughts no tongue means if the moment something comes, you just blurt it out without thinking. Nor any unproportioned thought means proportioned thought means thinking. Nor any unproportioned thought his act means if you didn't think about something clearly, don't act on that thought.
Ah, okay.
So don't speak without thinking. Don't act without thinking. That's what he's saying. Anything comes, just don't do it. Then in the later portion, he says the what you need to do is give thy ear unto all. Listen to everybody. That's when you gain wisdom. But few thy voice. Speak less. How do you know you should do that? The second part, how do you know you should do that?
You maintain silence.
Okay, good. That's one idea. Any other ideas?
Sorry, Shamji, could you repeat your question?
Why is it that on what basis? There is also a proof that you should hear everybody and speak less. What is the proof?
We have got 2 years.
Yes,
Ah,
Swami.
yes,
Hmm.
Mahesh. Ah,
I was about to say the same, Swami.
2 years and only one
One
mouth.
mouth.
So therefore, you should listen more and speak less. Also, what is more important? The 2 ears are open. The mouth is always closed. You understand? So it's always open. So you have to keep on listening. And mouth is always closed. So if you have to open it, there should be some reason for you to open it. But that's not what we do. Imagine we had two mouths and one ear. The world had it. So therefore, understand that. You should listen more and speak less. So that's called silence. So listen more. So for you to listen more, two things should be done. Externally silent, internally silent. So you may be externally silent, but when somebody is speaking, your thought is already running concurrent to it. Oh, what is this person saying? I think he's wrong. So you are not listening to the person, you're only hearing. It's just that sound is coming and hitting you. You're not actually concentrating in that. So external silence and internal silence. Internal silence is more important than that. And once you're internally silent, definitely you'll be externally silent because it will percolate into the action also. Otherwise, what is happening? As I'm speaking, all of you are quiet. But if you're already fighting with what I'm saying with your thoughts, you're not actually listening to me. See, most of the time in spiritual lectures, that's what happens because the thoughts are so different from the way the world thinks. Constantly, our thoughts are conflicting with those thoughts. So, what we should do? Just listen to that person, that point of view. You may analyze and then come back later, but at that point of time, don't fight. That's also being silent at the internal level. Yeah. Any questions?
So, is like meditation like one aspect of keeping yourself silent, or like that helps you
A,
in some.
a quiet mind can meditate. You can't meditate to
Op-
quieten the mind.
okay, it's opposite.
It's opposite.
Yeah.
So, a peaceful mind can meditate, not mind should meditate to become peaceful. So, simply as exercise in the morning, you just tell the mind to be quiet and keep it still. That's okay. But serious meditation practices without supervision and without control will lead to madness
Right.
because
Yeah, you told us before. Yeah.
because your mind will break. It's not ready for meditation in the strict sense of the term, keeping it to one thought. It's never ready for that. Yeah. But today, meditation is used as something where you become conscious of how the thoughts are running and observation. That is okay. Not in the terms of just keeping the mind to one thought. That should not be done. Yeah. Any other questions? If not, question 2. governing business and relationships. The ultimate objectives run parallel to one another are self-sufficiency, happiness, knowledge, love, and power. And when your identification with the self is complete, you reach the state of absolute self-sufficiency. Can you please elaborate on that? How do we achieve self-sufficiency? So, question is, how do you achieve self-sufficiency? Mahesh, you are muted, so we can't hear you if you are speaking. Is he speaking to us? I don't know. Maybe he's speaking to somebody. Any answers?
I'll give it a go.
Yeah. Yes,
In
sir. Yeah.
in some aspect, I think there's a lot of these factors are a lot of these objectives that he's mentioned, they relate to one another, or one is caused by the other. Like, for example, this is just my knowledge, and I could be really wrong. Like, if you understand the knowledge, then you kind of realize that, you are all that you need. You need to work on yourself. We switch off from the world and we go inside. And actually, that's where happiness is. If we, from that knowledge that we learn as well, we learn to correct a lot of all the incorrect things that we've had growing up. For example, we know that people are different. You are different, I'm different. But again, it's with this knowledge that you understand that actually, we're all nothing but just one. So I kind of feel all these objectives kind of overlap. And for me personally, it does start with knowledge. If it wasn't for the knowledge, then you would just keep going on in this rat race, not knowing where to go. But with that small introduction of knowledge and the willingness to think, then you start to explore these concepts.
Okay.
Mm.
Other answers? Arjun?
No, Swamiji.
Mahesh, you have anything to add? You are muted. Can't hear you. You are muted.
Yeah, Swami, I have a small recommendation, Swami.
Yeah.
I've not learned the matter yet, so um, can you just give me 1 week time so that I can catch up without adding any further portions, or is it for the greater
Yes.
good of everyone? Just
Yeah, no, no. But the next question is also something related to what you've already studied. That's okay. If you've not done that part, it's fine. It's not that every question you have to contribute. So
yes,
I'm just generally asking before giving answers. That's all.
Swami. I
So
understood, Swami.
so self-sufficiency means, what is the opposite of self-sufficiency? What is the opposite of it?
Reliance on others.
Dependent on people.
Dependent on the, not why is it dependent on people? Dependent on the world.
Dependent. Yeah.
Dependence. Right. So self-sufficiency is independence. The opposite is dependence.
Dependence.
So understand, Prabhu, self-sufficiency is not something that you achieve only upon realization. As you progress in your evolution, you become independent of things. You become relatively self-sufficient. Right? So that's the first thing. And like Sharin said, if you if you just develop one of the qualities, all other qualities also develop. That's how it is. There is that apparatus in physics. There are so many outlets with different shapes, and then you pour water on one, everything goes up. No, the water finds its level. Similarly, these are like different qualities. You
Fills.
need to just focus on one for all qualities to come up. Because when you are self-sufficient, what will happen? When you see people, instead of demanding affection, you will give affection, isn't it? So love is there. And when you are self-sufficient, the mind is not disturbed, therefore you have clarity of thinking, knowledge is there. So everything levels up. You understand? The weakness today is because of our attachments. When there is no weakness, when there is no attachment, there is power. That's what he's saying. All the qualities will level up by themselves. Right? So to achieve self-sufficiency, you start with the knowledge and then work on reducing your selfishness or dependence. How do you do it? What was the main statement we completed with in the last class, last session? We finished with one of the main statements that I said you should remember this in life. What is it?
Never peg your
Huh?
uh,
Present happiness on future goals.
Future goal. Present happiness on future goals. Correct.
Yes.
So that is a theorem followed by you should always function from happiness.
We should
Never
never function for happiness
for
from
happiness.
happiness.
You should always function from happiness. From
Yeah.
happiness means what? When you count all blessings, all that you already have, right? Then what will happen? You are not going into the world to find happiness. You are going into the world with happiness means what? That's the state of self-sufficiency. Means you are not going to the world seeking happiness or wanting the world to give you happiness. That's called dependence. What is independence? You are going into the world from a state of happiness. So that's how you start practicing it. So once you start practicing that way, slowly your dependence on the world comes down. Yes, Mahesh.
Swami.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the first book, in the Fall of Human Intellect, Swami tries to point out the dependence on others. He tries to, in maybe chapter 2 or 3, he tries to highlight this point that we are dependent on the external world, our wife, our family.
correct.
First, he's trying to highlight the problem, and then when we are in solitude, it's not that we leave the world. It's like mentally we are detached from everyone. Uh, yeah.
Correct.
So yes, Swami has already highlighted this problem of dependence, and now yeah.
Correct. So that's the understanding. So what is the understanding? The object, cigarette being the same, produces joy to one, sorrow to another. So if the object had happiness inherent in it, everybody should have the same experience. But it's not the case. One person finds joy, one person finds sorrow. You understand? The person being the same, a lady, somebody is wanting to somehow get a divorce and run away. The other person is wanting to get married to the same lady. So the person being the same produces ecstasy to one, agony to another. So therefore, understand the happiness is not in the objects, happiness is not in the beings of the world, right? So you understand it. So therefore, what you should understand, the world cannot give you happiness, therefore it cannot give you what?
Sorrow.
It cannot give you unhappiness or sorrow also. So what is giving you happiness or sorrow is your dependence, and something it is giving you, your mind is not agitated. Something you don't get, the mind is agitated. So when you understand that, you now know it is my adjustment of the mind that is more important than what the world offers. So it is my mental adjustment. Right? So these are all the things you understand. These are the steps, different knowledge you should understand to make you self-sufficient. So therefore, it's not the world that is giving me the joy and sorrow. It is my desire that is being fulfilled, that I am having a joy today, which is a dependent joy. Because if the desire is not fulfilled, I'll have sorrow. So it has nothing to do with the world. It is to do with my own desires. So therefore, as you grow with this theorem, functioning from happiness, you reduce your desires because you're not demanding anything in the world. In that process, you become free. That freedom is called self-sufficiency.
Okay.
So that's the theorem. So now he is giving ultimate objectives. That's what you have to reach. So how do you do it? Practice it from today is to see where all you all enjoying so many things. So you should be happy with it. The mind is looking at it and mind is happy with it. And when the mind forgets it, intellect reminds the mind. You're enjoying so many things. Why are you talking about this one thing that you don't have? You should be the most ungrateful person when millions of things the nature is providing you and you're complaining about one thing you don't have. You educate the mind. Instantly the mind comes to rest, doesn't get disturbed. So this is how you keep reminding the mind until a point comes when the desires are completely reduced, desires of the world, therefore it becomes self-sufficient, completely self-sufficient. Otherwise, relatively self-sufficient as you grow. Right? Another exercise is go back and see in your life what are all the things you're dependent upon. And reason out to say, why am I dependent on these things? Because of my unselfish desires, my unintelligent desires, my unintelligent attachments. So then you analyze even those things. Then you remove through analysis. With wisdom, you remove your dependence. So when you can understand it generally, then you understand it specifically with your own experience also. Right? Any questions?
So basically what you're saying is you constantly remind yourself that, like, why do you, I mean, like, keep your desires on check? Like whenever your mind sways, like, get your intellect to tell your mind that, like, you're happy with what you have and
Correct.
stuff.
Remind the
And
mind
then
about this.
slow
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
and
continue.
then slowly, like, you are in a position where you are self-sufficient because
Correct.
you can control your mind.
Correct. Correct. So you should remind the mind that so many things you're already having. Then the mind comes to this. I'm already having so many things. So mind's tendency is always to see what it doesn't have. So it's the
Hmm.
intellect to educate the mind to turn the other way, see what it has. Yes, Mahesh.
Swami,
Unmute. Yeah.
now, yes, Swami. Thank you.
Hmm.
So, ideally speaking, this will lead towards inaction, like in whatever, say, for example, I want to do something, but to intellectual application of the mind, mind slowly cuts all these unwanted desires. Say, I want to desire to become a billionaire. Example, just an example. This can be
You become a
anything.
billionaire, Mahesh. I will say I know a billionaire. You become a billionaire. No problem.
So that's not the point from here. The point is, what I'd like to ask you is, so slowly, if we intellectually put our mind into application, all our desire to become someone gradually drops for me. To enjoy something or to become someone, obviously, intellectual point. If we apply our intellect, it drops. We don't. Nothing feels to be persuasive enough to follow and achieve. In this, how can I yet work, yet put my mind to work, and how can I uh, move with my objective and goal?
Okay. Any answers? He is saying, if my mind is content, why will I go and do anything? Because
I
everything I
think
start,
Swami,
my
that is
intellect will say, why do you do it? That's his question. Yes, Sharon. Yeah.
yes.
I think this is where you need to use your intellect here. It is a goal that you are going to achieve. If you achieve it, that's fantastic. You still put your work towards it. If you don't get it, maybe it's not meant for you, or it's you exercising the intellect. I think where it's controlling the mind, it's because, Mahesh, you're kind of going into it expecting the full result. That is what is bothering you. And then when you don't get the result or you don't see it happening, that's when you beat yourself up. right? But if that is a goal, regardless how long it's going to take you, if you just keep working towards it, if it doesn't happen this year, it may happen next year, it may happen in 10 years. So you can still go and keep working for it, but do not allow your mind to get agitated if that goal has been achieved.
Okay.
Because what happens in the world today is we set a goal, most likely, it is a bit unrealistic. We give ourselves a very short amount of time. So we are causing the agitations for ourselves. But if you've got a goal and you really want to achieve it, you will keep going no matter how long it takes you.
Okay.
That's why.
Yep. Any other
So
answer?
I
Swami,
feel like
I'd like to just put the question
Clarify.
again,
Yeah,
Swami.
clarify. Yes, Mahesh,
Yes,
clarify.
the problem here is not the problem here is goal setting itself. It's like it's not in the process of goal setting. I do as a matured, I do understand that we have got to be patient. It will take some time, and now after these classes, I do understand expectation is not there that I need to achieve the goal. My mind is more calmer now than it used to be before. That I have not achieved this, I have not achieved that. Now the problem itself is with goal setting itself. Uh,
Well, if that is the case, maybe again, reason with yourself and say that is a goal that I have. It's in me. It's I want to get it. Yes, I'll be getting $1 billion, for example. If I had it, what good could I do with it? Do you know what I mean?
uh, Nothing.
Okay. So that's
So
what you
next
need
As
question.
we,
to,
when
that's
we
what we're
go deeper
learning.
and deeper, as you peel the onion, nothing remains.
No. I think, yeah, keeping that in mind, like go for that $1 billion, I would say. Why not? If you've got the capability, you've got the intellectual ability, you've got the resources, yes. And tell yourself, okay, I'm going to make $1 billion, and what am I going to do? How am I going to give it back? So earn it, but also have a bigger goal in mind. If I was to get it, then I will, or I should, or I must. So again, it's, I think, your intellectual reasoning or intellect reasoning, and that's why we're here.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Arjun or Prabhu? Prabhu, you had something? Sorry.
yeah. So Swamiji mentions, right, it's basically your goal is like something close to your ideal or like Swadharma. Is it what your goal? Uh, then he says to work backwards
Okay.
from that goal. So I mean, like it could be your Paradharma, Swadharma. So hopefully, I mean, like preferably like Swadharma. Like Swamiji mentioned, like he does it like 40 years back. That's too much for of an ambition for us. But he says like choose like step by step and like work backwards and see whether you can able to achieve it. From like basically, since you are a civil engineer, you do a reverse engineering and go to from back point to the first point.
Yeah. Arjun?
Uh, no, Swamiji, I have nothing to add.
Mahesh, the
Swami,
theorem, the theorem that was given only said, don't peg your present happiness on future acquisition. It never said, don't have future acquisition, isn't it?
yes,
So
Swami, yes,
what happens is, if the mind is always looking into the future, it will never be happy. So the mind should always look at what it already has and be happy, right? And
yes,
because
Swami,
activity means life, inactivity means death. So
yes,
as
Swami,
long as you're alive, you should act.
yes, Swami,
Therefore, right? So therefore, what you have to do? With the intellect, you plan a course of action. I am happy with what I have, but if I have the capacity to get 1 billion, why not? Go and get it. Doesn't matter. And what you will do with it, let's see when the billion comes. We are all there, no? You can all give us all of us, all 250, 250, 250,000 you give, or 250 million also you can give, all of us. So, in other words, they are not saying you should not act. They are only saying if your action, your happiness is dependent on some future achievement, you will not be happy. Right? The second thing, most important thing, is spiritual enlightenment means achieving the infinite. So therefore, a spiritual person wants to get to the infinite. Why will we not have the finite? So therefore, they are not saying that, in other words, I'm saying, they are not asking you to be complacent. They are not asking you to be content and not move forward. That's not what is meant. They are saying if the mind is content with happy with what it has, it will not be disturbing. And if it doesn't disturb you, you will be able to perform actions with more productivity. But still,
Without expecting result.
correct. So therefore, the intellect should still plan. I am able to achieve so many things. Why can't? Why not achieve it? And therefore, what will happen? You're always in control because it's your intellect that's guiding you to do everything. Today, we are not in control because the mind is taking over and forcing us because it's depending on that for happiness. Right? So, the question is which equipment is focusing? The mind should focus on what it already has. Intellect should focus on growth. And ideally, the intellect should focus on growth to get the infinite. I want all of us to achieve realization. That's what we have to do. In that process, you achieve the finite also, no problem. Get everything. What's the problem? And what you're saying is right. This wrong understanding of this fact only made people not do anything and became complacent. Anyway, by doing everything, well, scripture is saying you will not find happiness in the world. Why do anything? Just sit tight. You understand? No. Vedanta is not saying that. Vedanta is saying at any moment, mind should be happy, but the intellect should plan a course forward to achieve everything. Why? We want the intellect to achieve the infinite. So why should you not have the finite in the process? No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is for me, this is where I'm stuck. So I keep on asking you. I think this is the third or fourth time
That's
we are
okay.
explaining it.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
See, you know, this is a thing that I usually say. One person goes to, we stay in ashram, the place called Malavali. From that station to Pune is 15 rupees ticket. Understand?
Okay, so
The fellow first went and asked, what is the cost of the ticket from Malavali to Pune? The fellow said 15 rupees. He didn't have. He had only 10 rupees in his pocket. So he went behind, put a cap and changed his tone. And he said, what is the ticket to Pune? Same. He changed his voice. Understand? 100 times you ask, answer is the same, 15 rupees only. Similarly, how much ever times you ask, my answer will be the same because that's the truth. The answer is not going to change. So, in other words, growth is not the problem. Evolution is not the problem. Having wealth is not the problem. Having a lot of relationships is not the problem. Having all the power in the world is not the problem. Your dependence on them for happiness is their problem. So, happiness is something else. Mind should be happy. You agree, get all these things because you have the capacity to do it. That's all. So at any point of time, what happens? Like Sharin said, even if it doesn't happen, you will still be happy because you're counting on what you already have. But when your happiness depends on the future thing, if it all doesn't come or if the danger of losing it, you get so disturbed, isn't it?
that's all.
Which is what they want us to avoid. So nothing. So if you say, because sorry to say that in your community, in Jains, they give up wealth and everybody goes because they have a very, very strict type of monkhood that they have in their practices. I think that's why Mahesh is scared. What will happen if I find happiness and all? Will I have to give up everything and go? Thankfully, you came to Vedanta. See, the greatest realized masters were all kings. There's a King Janaka who had all the wealth, and there is Lord Krishna always having so much of wealth. So it's not a taboo.
Yes,
You understand that? Yeah.
yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I just wanted to clarify one thing. So just
Yes,
now when Prabhu rounded up self-sufficiency, he said it is basically the control of the mind.
Yeah.
Could we add to that your happiness also doesn't depend on people, possessions, and the world?
Correct. So
That would be self-sufficiency if we were to define.
that is self-sufficiency. But what happens is, though you may educate the mind, like I'm saying, look at what you already have and everything. At times, mind's nature is to always seek something that it doesn't have. So when the mind slips from this condition of being happy with what it has, it will always slip into the condition, I have to get this, I have to get this. At that time, you control the mind by reminding it. You're having so many things. Why are you dependent on that? Self-sufficiency is finally independence from objects and beings from the world for your happiness. That's what self-sufficiency means.
Yeah.
But today, the moment if you think, when will I get out of this dependence on the world? So it feels like a Herculean task, isn't it? So therefore, they are given us very simple theorem. You're already having everything. Think of that, then you will be happy. So then when you go into something, if you get it or doesn't get it, you're not dependent on that. You
Yeah.
understand? If you get it, you're happy or you enjoy it. If you don't get it, you're still saying, what's the problem?
Yeah.
See, I used to do this when I had my business, and because I learned Vedanta and then went into business. So when I went into business, every time I go, I always used to try to practice Vedanta. I go into into a meeting to meet a client, thinking, what will happen with this meeting? If I get the business, I'm happy. If I don't get it, big deal. I already have so many clients. So when you go into the meeting itself, the outcome of the meeting you have actually removed from the equation because it doesn't matter for you. So what happens? The client does not call me if he doesn't want business from me, right? And I have not gone there if I don't want business. So it is a question of who is more resilient, who is more objective will get the deal, isn't it? So most of the time you'll come out getting the business. And if it doesn't happen also, it doesn't matter to you. So
Yeah.
we don't think like that. That's why when you go into the meeting only, the person is already dependent. So therefore, where is the question of first happiness? Second is in desperation, the mind gets disturbed.
And
So
therefore,
therefore,
that's why you think
correct. So
controls
therefore,
the mind.
yeah. So the definition is correct. Your definition is correct. But we are not the
How to
ones.
do it.
Yeah, how to do it. I'm just giving the technique of how to do it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for explaining that.
Yeah. Any
So
other
there
question?
are there are two postures, right? One is like you always have this mentality of like, "Hey, I have everything, uh, so and don't like at the same time like don't be dependent on anything, right?" So at the same time, what you're saying is like if you have a goal, just go for it. Keep like you whatever final goal you have, keep shooting for the goal. At the same time, don't be dependent on okay, if I'm not able to achieve it, oh I'm going to get sad or something. Don't be dependent on that. Whatever it is, like if you're not able to do it, okay, it's fine. But at least you tried and
Correct.
just be happy with that.
Correct. Correct. And incidentally, that going into that particular activity, not depending on it, makes you act with objectivity and productivity because the mind is not
Yeah.
disturbing.
Okay.
You understand? Otherwise, what
Yeah.
happens if you're dependent on the result, when something as you go, something that is planned doesn't work, instantly the mind gets disturbed. So you even lose your existing capacity to function there. You understand? See, I went to a company called City Corp Overseas for a meeting. I went and sat there in the meeting. I said, these are the clients that I have, and everything. These are the candidates I have, everything. So the lady said, we have a policy that we do not poach people from our clients. This is our ethical policy. That's what she said. And then she said, second thing is, all your clients are already my competitors, right? So how are you going to give me business? That's what she said. How are you going to give me candidates? Because I don't want you to go and actively get people from there, and they're already your clients. So who will you go and call if I give you a requirement? You understand? This is what she asked. So you understand that. So now I just simply told her, please, you should understand, because I am not interested in the outcome. Instantly it struck me that there are people who walk in and give their profiles to me who may be from the competing companies. I will be very, very unintelligent to say, no, 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 you are coming from the competing company of Citicorp, therefore I won't take your profile. Isn't it? You don't want me to go somewhere. But if somebody comes to me, why will I refuse his profile? You understand? So it will be
Yeah.
very stupid of me to do such a business. So I said, so many people come in. So I will give those profiles to you. See, it's a very simple thing, but when you're disturbed, you don't remember these things. So when you come out only, you'll remember, oh my God, I know so many walk-ins are there every day. I forgot to say that. Because you are very interested in getting the business, that outcome. You understand? Therefore, the mind doesn't think clearly. So the idea of being happy and going into it without depending on the outcome makes your mind at rest, and you're able to also concentrate and be objective. That's a very important aspect of this practice of, practicing this thing where you're going in, where the mind is already at rest. Happy. Yeah. Any other questions? If not, question 3. Swamiji says human actions can be classified as selfish, unselfish, selfless. He further says unselfish action is driven by an unselfish desire to serve a common cause. I'm still trying to understand the difference between unselfish desire and selfless desire. If you work for your work's sake, you are still serving a common cause here, isn't it? Is Prabhu's question.
Swami.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we all know selfish desires, Swami. Out of our own desire, any action analysis that is selfish. We know unselfish desires for the common good of everyone. Let's say, Swami, building a trust and working for it, working for a common goal for everyone, not for my own individualistic goal. Um, so that comes under unselfish desires. Selfless desires is right now has to be discussed without for the greater good, and in the sense not only for the greater good. Right now, just we finished the topic of discussion that performing one's actions irrespective of the outcome, just for the good of doing it. We simply just now we have talked about the topics.
Okay.
Self.
Any other answers?
I tend to think of karma yoga when Swamiji was talking about this. Like selfish, it's clear, it's for you. You're getting something from it. That's the only reason why you're doing it. Unselfish to me is you are kind of manipulating your intellect to believe that you are doing it for a bigger cause, but there is still a lot of there are a lot of obstacles in there. And I think the one thing that distinguishes unselfish and selfless for me is selfless. If an activity you were doing it for a selfless cause, you would keep going no matter how long it takes. But in unselfish, if you still don't see the results, you will be quite agitated. So that it's that the level of agitation one feels, and also the long-term aspect of that cause. I think that would be it. Yeah.
Okay. Arjun?
Swamiji, here it is more to do with the collective consciousness. So, first, let me tell that we used to perform actions wherein I was more important. The I was like it is everything. I have to do it. I'm being doing all these things, and from that you will slowly reduce the I, and you will think that what can I still that I will exist where the actions we feel that I am doing it, yet it is for the betterment or for the well-being of others. We start to think of others, and selfless is irrespective of the I and the others. It will be like for the collective consciousness of everyone, be it like the nature, uh, everybody around us, people. So that is what I understood.
Okay. So what you need to understand is selfish desire is where through that particular desire you are trying to or you are trying to fulfill the desires of yourself and probably of your family. Extension, one level of extension. You and your family is selfish desire. Unselfish desire is where your objective includes a larger circle of people. Mahesh immediately went on creating trust and all. Don't have to create trust and all. So
Just an example for
I
me.
know.
Uh,
So when you go to work, you can say, how can I be contributing to this, to my organization? That itself is unselfish. Now Mahesh is running a business, Arjun is running a business. They can think of, I'm doing this for the sake of the extended family of people who are dependent on this. Their employees and their families who depend on this. So when you go with that attitude, then you're becoming unselfish. Right? But still, unselfishness is still part of the world. So what will happen? You will go and help somebody. You will find that the person is benefited. Then what happens? It inspires you. Oh my God, if I help more people, what will happen? So you'll keep on doing more and more good. Still, you will go through the cycle of birth and death because you are unselfish. So now, a selfish person goes to the cycle because of selfish desires. An unselfish person is going through the cycle of birth and death because of unselfish desire. He wants to do more and more good, more and more good. You understand? So what is a selfless desire? A desire that doesn't cater to you at all. Means the desire for realization is it's called a selfless desire. Now, understand one thing. Today, you may not be able to you conceive self-realization as a goal because it's very abstract, right? So now what you have to do is, you fix an intermediary goal called an unselfish desire to reach selfless desire at some point of time in your life. Then all the actions that you execute for the unselfish desire is also selfless. You understand? The unselfish desire becomes a milestone in your ultimate goal of self desire for the self. Then these actions also become selfless. You understand the difference?
No, I still did not get it.
Okay. So all that I'm saying is, if you
Sorry.
think, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Mahesh just muted himself. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I muted him because he was echoing. So you understand. See, when you're performing unselfish desire, your desire is now you understand. How can I live selfishly? So many people are in the world. All of us are contributing to each other. We are interdependent. Therefore, we should help each other. Now you don't have a concept of the self or anything beyond the world. But you are some person better in the world because you are not thinking only of yourself. You are thinking of more everybody, right? So these are people with unselfish goals. They will spend their heart and soul in trying to benefit others, right? They want to do everything to others. But since they don't have a concept of anything beyond the world, anything called the self, they will still be caught up in the world because of they are doing punya, merits. So they'll get all good things and then again they'll be in the cycle, right? So what is a selfless goal? Anything beyond the world is not catering to yourself. Here, selfless doesn't mean the big self, small self. Small self referring to your body, mind, and intellect. So anything beyond the world is called a selfless goal, which is the goal for achieving enlightenment. Right? Number one. Now, if you're not able to conceive self-realization as a goal today, that doesn't. So therefore, what you have to do? You have to go through the path of unselfish to selfless. Right? Because you are able to conceive this aspect. We are all dependent, interdependent, so I have to serve everybody. Right? Serve others. Now, the unselfish person who doesn't know there's a self is fixing that unselfish goal as an end. You will fix the unselfish goal as a means to fix selflessness as a goal at some point of time. So though you will now fix a unselfish goal, what is unselfish goal? I should now go and work in Bank of America to serve the company, serve the bank, not to serve myself. Unselfish goal. I will make 555, not cigarettes, bricks. Mahesh, 555 bricks. I said, why did you name 555? It looks, ever thought association is cigarettes? He said, no, that's a very good name. So he put bricks. He can do it because as a service, the best quality product I'm providing for the people who are my clients. And in this process, I'm also benefiting all the employees who are under me. Unselfish goal. But someday I have to get to the self. So he makes this, you understand, means to get to the higher goal someday. Then what happens? Even the unselfish actions become selfless because you're doing it for that higher, not as an end in itself here. See, otherwise, what will happen is not most of the people, when they get introduced to Vedanta and everything, they can't conceive the self or self realization or liberation. You understand? And when you go into unselfish goal, you can get caught there. Why? Because you get such a satisfaction when you benefit others. Now you understand that this is only a means. I have to get there. Then you won't get caught up in this. You will still do everything. Number one. Number two, you'll also understand whatever I do, serve. I cannot repay the nature for what it has done. Right? So what am I kidding myself? Tomorrow, even if I remove myself in the equation, there will be somebody else to serve. You understand? So you will not even get into that egoistic thing that I am benefiting everybody. See, there is some unselfish people are very egoistic also. Because when they come in only, they think they're already serving. You understand? So earlier it was a selfish ego, now it's a benevolent ego. Benevolent ego means I'm serving everybody. That thought they get. You understand? Then it's very difficult even to find. When you go and meet people like Swamiji, when you get a chance, do you understand? There's no ego. The sense that they don't say that he will come and put you in your place to teach you the knowledge. But at the same time, is willing to listen to you. Means there's no ego. He just drops it. You understand? This comes only when you're thinking of self as a goal ultimately. So you know, I have to go through the unselfish desire to get to the selfless desire. Then any action that you perform in unselfish desire also is working for doing what you ought to do. If you're able to work for the self directly, no problem. Because then every action becomes selfless. But if you don't also, it's not a problem. You can fix unselfish goal as an intermediary step to fix that as the ultimate step. Yeah? Any questions?
A lot of things to observe, but
yeah,
you're right.
Could you give like a very simple example in real life? Like just for this, what would be an unselfish thing that we could use as a milestone? Just any simple example.
So unselfish goal as a milestone. So in other words, you are into teaching, right? You're a teacher, right? You just fix my objective is to go and serve my students and my institution. The unselfish goal. So you don't go there because it is giving you an income. You're not going there because through that all your things are satisfied. So what happens when you go with that attitude? Instantly you're not part of the competition in the school in terms of the teachers, in terms of the politics, everything, because you're just interested in serving the students and serving the institution. Once you do that comfortably, what happens? Then you have to fix a larger goal. How can I make this education better for everybody? You understand? Then you expand your vision. So you may still be serving the school only, but you're devising methods and everything that will help everybody do it. You understand? You can devise that methods which could be shared with everybody. Things like that. So you expand your vision and keep moving up. See, the whole, you should understand what's that free software that they have in the operating system, Prabhu or Arjun? Apple and Microsoft, the third one. What is the third operating system?
Google.
Linux.
Linux. Linux.
Linux.
Linux travels.
Unix.
Yeah. Linux travels. What did he do?
Macintosh.
Correct. What Linux travels did when he created the operating system, he said free. I don't want to make billions. Let everybody use it. He just gave it. You understand? So he just developed something and he just gave it to everybody. See, the air, what is it when you go and crash? The airbags come, isn't it?
Yeah.
One company found out the method to save lives. I don't remember the name of the company, but they didn't go and copyright it. They said this technology is for all. They taught everybody. Because they said this is not a question of making this money through this process. It's a question of through this, all life should be saved. See, this is you understand, then the goal has become much larger. So that's how you step up and go to the next level.
And for that too, the intellect's needed.
Correct. So that's why you go step by step. So you can't conceive that now. So conceive the immediate circle of the school or the organization, because you can conceive that and start working towards it. Then it's realistic. Then as you gain that clarity and understanding, you can pitch up something higher and you keep moving upwards. That's the idea. Yeah. Yes, Mahesh.
So just as you said in the example, it doesn't mean leaving our interest in the process of becoming unselfish. Like the school doesn't pay us, it doesn't mean we continue the school.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is, yeah.
So you should understand one thing. When you say increasing the circle of identification, you're also included in that. You're not excluded from that. And no person
That's
who's functioning,
exploiting us.
yeah,
Mm.
no. So therefore, second point is, when you're unselfish, that doesn't mean it is passivity. That doesn't mean everybody steps over you and abuses your goodness. That's not what is unselfish. Unselfish means, so therefore, what happens when you're unselfish? You're also clear. If you know somebody is trying to use you as a tool, you cut that person off. At that time, that doesn't mean you're selfish. You're doing it because if more than this, it is detrimental to the other person. So therefore, you cut the help you render to that person. And when you serve like this, why will the company school not pay you? Because you're one fellow who's doing so much, and they know what you're contributing and what you're getting. They're giving you is next to nothing. So it's not that they will do anything. But if it comes to that, yes, what he's saying is right. So it's not that at the cost of your interest. That doesn't mean. But when you're thinking of larger interest and working, you will also be taken care of. This is one thing that we need to really understand it. See, a lot of people ask us, how do you guys survive? First question they ask, when you are in the ashram, did you get money? So, no, we just served. Right? Then the immediate question is, how do you survive? First answer is by breathing air. Isn't it? If you don't have oxygen, you'll die, isn't it? So you have to breathe first. The second thing is, understand this. When you're going and working for your company, when you're investing your action for the sake of the company takes care of you. At the end of the month, they give you. When you work for the entire world and the society, why will they not take care of you? This conviction you need to have. But if I'm doing that only for the sake of that they will take care of me, it will not work. I should do that service because that's the right thing to do. In this process, I'll also be taken care of. That's all. Similarly, in unselfish goal, that's what happens. When you function for that larger cause, you will be taken care of. You will be taken care of in the sense, it could even mean that at one point of time, if you have grown out of that school, you may be dropped from the school, but you may get something in such a bigger school. In different ways, the nature takes care of. Could be anything. Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? If not, we'll conclude here. We'll meet in the next class.
Hari Om Swami.
Hari Om.
Hariom.